So this was what life was like before I outsourced. I was dealing with picking and packing. My father-in-law was picking and packing, and I was doing everything. So it was super disorganized. It was a jungle. And this is what life is like now. I have large business, not just on Amazon, on 20 different channels, only 2 employees, which is pretty unheard of. Most people, when they see, like I go to a cocktail party and they're like, Chad, how many employees do you have? I'm like, 2. Oh, you're small. And I think that's actually, they're misguided. They think that employees have to do something with success. And it's not correct. I look at my revenue per employee ratio. I've been on Amazon, the game has changed tremendously. So I started on Amazon in 2009, where there was no private labelers, barely any competition. And I saw the writing on the wall that I wanted to have my own brand. I was tired of this pissing contest for price, and I started Crucial Vacuum in 2009. My parents had a vacuum store. They were going out of business, and I wanted to help them take their business online. And then I decided, instead of being a reseller, I wanted to actually manufacture my own goods. Since 2009, on average, we have grown SKU count 87% each year, which is crazy. This is the graph of the products I've added since 2009. So we ended, actually right now, year to date in 2017, we have 767 products. Last year alone, we added 200 products. And I'm not saying this to honk my own horn, I'm talking about efficiency. We added 200 products with 2 employees last year. Amazon Basics, Amazon's private label initiative, added 287 products last year. And they have a massive team. This is how many listings we have. So I am the king of kitting and bundling. I love kits, bundles, and I do it all for a real estate space. I look at e-commerce like playing Monopoly. You need to be on every piece of the board to win. You want to own Park Ave, you want to own the utility, and so we create additional listings with kits and bundles, not just to increase our average selling price, which is, it happens, but I also am on every single channel to win. So I created a lot of listings, I play with titles, but I also put it all over the internet, because the second somebody sees that, right, it's an opportunity for the person to buy. It's a real estate space. So how do you win? How am I winning? I'm winning not because I'm working harder. I'm working smarter than those that are out there. So in e-commerce, e-commerce is super interesting. Like what you know on Amazon or even off Amazon expires every 3 to 6 months. That's to make money. But in order to win, you need to have the right foundation, and you need to be a systems thinker. And that's why I developed this presentation, because I believe that we've developed a system and a process for us to win. So we're going to talk about 3 different levers that you can pull. So optimize, automate, and outsource. The reason why we're starting with optimize is because you cannot outsource an inefficient task. So we start actually with ourselves and discover ourselves first. Then we automate with technology, and then we outsource with manual labor. These are the 3 levers, but the output is 2. The 2 outputs of these 3 things is time and money. The most important one for this presentation is money. Right? Because what we found is that when you give people back time, entrepreneurs like yourselves, you typically don't spend it more with your family. You actually start reinvesting back into your business and seeing how I can make more money. It's just what's inside of us as entrepreneurs. When I first started thinking about my life and how I can automate and outsource and do the things that I want to be doing, and this is, I have entrepreneurship ADD, I want to be doing a lot of different things. I started thinking about what are things I have no desire to be doing? What are things that I have no expertise doing? No knowledge, and just saying no. So a lot of entrepreneurs say, okay, I have a to-do list. But a lot of entrepreneurs don't have a do-not-do list. And I would encourage everybody to have a do-not-do list. I started with myself. I didn't start with anybody else. I started getting self-aware of where I'm deploying my time. I created a calendar. Every single thing that I did in my life, again, I highly suggest everyone leaves this room today, starts a calendar for 2 weeks, seeing where you're spending your time. Because all of us spend time doing things we shouldn't be doing. So the other thing that I started doing is I started actually not only doing this for myself, but I started doing this for my employees. So I started meeting with employees and saying, okay, I want you to create a calendar. I want you to create a list of everything that you're doing. They had no idea why they were putting together a calendar. And they printed it out on Google for me and gave it to me. And I said, wait, why are you doing this? And why are you spending 3 hours doing this, writing a blog post? That's a waste of your time, right? And so A lot of companies out there today, they give out free lunch. They give out holistic water, okay? We give out virtual assistants to every single employee. So when we have our weekly huddle meetings, I start asking questions like, hey, did you accomplish this? Or was this accomplished? And we start going through the boards I'm about to teach you here. And sometimes time comes up, or hey, I don't have capacity. And capacity and time are never impediments to our success, to accomplishing what we need to do. I always think about activities I'm doing and I say to myself, is this helping me make more money? And so not all work is created equal. I split this up into quadrants, and I read a lot about outsourcing too. I try to read up on a lot of blogs, but I think about what I'm doing that's high impact and high effort. Low impact, low effort. So the first piece is anything that's high effort and low impact is a complete waste of your time. It's not helping you make more money. So what is that? Restocking your fridge at the office. Right? You should not be going to King's and going to buy cold brew for your team. Right? It's a waste of your time. It's not gonna help you make more money. Don't do it. Low effort, low impact. Again, stay away from this quadrant. Something that's high impact and low effort, this is me actually answering emails. I call it snacking. Things that make you feel really good in the short term, like I just answered 45 emails in 2 hours. Damn, I'm good, right? I accomplished something today. And again, short term. You can outsource that. That's a great quadrant to get rid of. Anything that's snacking, you want to remove off your plate. You want to get to the desserts. You want to actually go and score home runs. So anything that's high impact, high effort, it's that 80-20. And what if you can actually deploy more time into what's actually producing results and 5x your impact for the company? Let's talk about automate. So someone said yesterday, someone came up to me after the presentation, they're like, Chad, I want to know every technology that you use to run your business. I said, well, that's actually a pretty interesting idea. So what did I do? While everyone else was going to dinner and going to sushi, I went home and I started developing a slide, right, that I want to share with everybody of every single technology I use. And the technologies that we're using are helping us automate everything that a human can do. We want to take low-value activities, the stuff that you do not want to be doing, repetitive, mundane crap, and automate the hell out of it with technology, and then outsource the rest that can't be done with technology. But remember, you cannot outsource an inefficient task, which is why we started with optimization. This is every single tool that I use to run my business. So let's address some of these things. There's a difference between using technology to make your life easier and using technology to automate your life. So I started thinking about what are technologies that I use for automation, and then what are technologies I use for delegation. And I split the two. So I'm sure a lot of people here in the audience are aware, but I happen to be the CEO of Skubana. And so Skubana is an operational system to run your business. So what does it do, right? It does everything from orders, inventory, purchase orders, analytics. I'm not telling you this because I want you to buy it, because not everyone here in the audience is a fit for the software. It's for high volume sellers that sell in multiple channels. What I am here to tell you is that what we've developed, I started thinking about, okay, what do I not want my employees to be doing? So I don't want my employees to be digging through 3,000 different listings across 20 channels and deciding how many to order, when to order it, with what vendor, at what cost, at what time, at what lead time. And so we've created algorithmic purchase orders. It's just one example, right, of automation. Another example of a great technology I use here is Boomerang. So I use Boomerang to automate my inbox. As entrepreneurs, as sellers, I mean, we're all communicating with email right now. So I can send out an email in the future with Boomerang. Not right now, but later on. But on top of that, when I send out an email, I'm constantly thinking about the mental weight. There's a cognitive processing power that happens. When I send out an email and I'm thinking about if the person's gonna respond, Boomerang actually will bring stuff back into my inbox if the person doesn't respond. And then another example is LastPass. Our entire team is using LastPass, which is a password management tool. Instead of giving everybody on my team my passwords, we actually give them access to the database that has the password, but it's all hidden behind the scenes. So if you were to let go of an employee, which I know that never happens, but if you let go of an employee, you just literally deactivate them from LastPass, and boom, you move on with your life. So where do we find our VAs? These are a few sites you can find them. I personally use Upwork for a few reasons. I like the platform. They have a work diary where I can see everything that the person is doing. So they take screenshots every 15 minutes of the employee's screen. Not because I want to micromanage, but sometimes I surprise sneak attack and look at their desktop to see what they're up to. And on top of that, they bought guru.com as well, so they have a large, massive pool I can pull from. And there's tons of people on there. I look for people in the Philippines on Upwork. Why do I choose the Philippines? First of all, the United States used to own the Philippines, and they're also the biggest place for business process outsourcing, BPO, so they have a lot of call centers. I also look to the Philippines because I believe that these individuals in the Philippines are hardworking, loyal people. I go to the Philippines not because I'm cheap, because it's cost effective. I pay my all-star VA $12 an hour, and $12 is a good amount of money there. She's never gonna leave the company, but it's what it takes to get a rockstar VA, virtual assistant. So the 5 things I'm looking for when I'm hiring VAs is I have them do an English test. So I have them send me a video recording of themselves in the pre-screening process. 2 is I want to make sure the person's organized. I want to see how her communication is, or his communication is. I look at the reviews on Upwork. So that's another reason why I go to Upwork, is I can actually see the reviews, how many hours they've worked, look at their history, look at their past. And then I ask them for samples. So samples of their work, what have they done in the past? I also ask a secret question in all of our posts. So every Upwork post that we post, we put a little secret question. So sometimes it'll be, make sure in the post, include the word rockstar assistant in one of your sentences. Because a lot of people start applying to your job posts and you start getting bombarded with 100 different people that want to apply to your job. So it actually weeds out a lot of the crap that comes in because the person actually paid attention to detail. So we split up the position that we look for into 2 different things: tasks and revolving roles. So a task to me is, I want you to design a new website. I want you to design my warranty page or my returns page. I want you to go get us backlinks on the internet. Those are all, to me, special tasks that you can find individuals who are absolutely amazing at what they do. Find the expert that can do it faster than yourself. I know that I'm not the best at sponsored ads. I get it off my plate. I'm not the best at blog writing. I give it to someone who can do it faster, better, and cheaper than me doing it. But for a role with revolving tasks, that's where I get my VAs to come in. So checking on this PowerPoint, for example. Is there any spelling errors? Doing my calendar, doing my listing updates, researching competitors, constant things that are coming up, I just Slack them and I ask them, hey, take care of this. A lot of people here are focusing on building products or sourcing products. You want to build a business that's focusing and sourcing on products. So here's examples of some job posts on Upwork. Are you an efficient virtual assistant that has hustle? Are you a Google AdWords master? Part-time bookkeeper, outsourced, done, Philippines, amazing. So on Upwork, in the top right-hand corner when you're logged in, you can search by freelancer, like contractor, or you can search by the job. So we personally will start inviting people when we search freelancers. So if I'm looking for a person that specializes in something unique, we type that word into the search box and it spits out everyone who has that in their profile. However, if I'm actually doing some competitive analysis or I want to look something up, so recently I've been really intrigued by wish lists and Amazon engagement, something I'm doing research on. And so I wanted to just type in Amazon wish list into Upwork to see what other sellers are posting for their jobs. And I start reading those descriptions and I start getting nuggets of ideas. Then I click on that job post and at the bottom of that post, it says every other job that that person has created. 50 jobs, 100 jobs, whatever. And I start looking to see what are they outsourcing? What are the secrets? What are they doing? There's so much to be learned just by digging into this database. So here's an example of the Amazon wish list. This is one that came up, right? I'm looking for an Amazon SEO expert. This person will use wish list, blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about outsourcing the inbox, never having to check it again. The first thing you need to do is analyze what the hell is happening with your inbox. So I use this app called Gmail Meter. Essentially, it hooks up into your Gmail and it'll say how many emails come in. I had 4,000 emails come in last month. But it also stacks the most people that are communicating with you, the top 10 people that are writing to you. You take those top 10, you're like, you know what? Let's move this off email. Let's take it offline. Let's start communicating via Slack, and let's set up a Trello board, which we'll get to in a second, where we assign and delegate tasks so that I can watch and have oversight without me having to actually micromanage. I received 4,500 messages last month. That's absolutely insane. You can see here those that are direct, replied versus not replied. The ones that people aren't replying to, I just have it on Boomerang, right? I keep on being persistent until they answer back. So I developed this system for emails. I call it the flag and tag system. In Gmail, in the settings, go to labels, and there's different stars. So I use, if you look at the in use here, green is for my black belt assistant, Anne. Red is urgent for me. Stars going to me are things that I need to respond to. Purple is for my other virtual assistant. It's all color-coded, and blue is for my VAs to collaborate on themselves. So here's what it looks like. This is part of the inbox. The stars, the blue, the purple, etc. Canned responses. So there's canned responses in Gmail. I don't know if everyone knows that, but you can get template emails prepared for you. Again, this goes back to optimization. Where are you spending your time? If you analyze your inbox and you know that you're always getting the same email from somebody, build a canned response. So they plug it in, and boom, done. The other thing we do is like filters. So in Gmail, I take anything like the sold and shipped now, the guy that raised his hand that's always looking at sold and shipped now in his inbox, right, I get that out of our inbox. Or if I'm always getting an email from App Eagle, I don't need to see it. It's not important for me to see that email, and I just file it away with a filter. I also use something called Unroll.me, which is an unsubscription service that unsubscribes me from all the BS that's coming into the inbox. So the other thing that we're using, we talk about technology, we use something called Trello. Trello is a board. We structure our team into boards. So you can have a marketing board, you can have a sponsored ad board, you can have a VA board. This is what our Trello board will look like. We have the backlog, everything that we want to accomplish. Then we have a to-do, doing, and done. So you can drag these cards to each board. You can also drag cards up and prioritize them. So we're constantly scrubbing our Trello to see what's actually going to have the highest impact, and we move it up in the board. But then you can delegate that card to anybody on your team. And then you can see within the card all the responses, all the things that they've done, if they've gotten it done, and you can just come in here. This is how you can actually create a system to delegate without micromanaging. So I can see things getting done without me having to be in the weeds getting it done. We use this system to allow things to happen without our oversight. But it also helps us triage things with rigorous prioritization and delegation to make sure we're only focusing on the stuff that's going to move the needle.